Teaching kids 3 basic spelling rules when adding word endings. 1. Words ending in a consonant. 2. Words ending in silent E. And 3. Words ending in Y. Begin by introducing kids to basic spelling rule 1. Words ending in a consonant. When changing a one-syllable word with a short vowel, as our example, the word is mop, to past tense adding ed, the final consonant is usually doubled before adding ed. And in our example, mop, the final consonant is P, and we doubled it and then added ed to make the word mopped. And our two examples are, she needs to mop the floor and she mopped the floor. Discuss 2 more examples with kids reviewing the first spelling rule. When changing a one-syllable word with a short vowel to past tense, the final consonant is usually doubled. Let's look at our first example. Our one-syllable word with a short vowel is pet. Then adding the past tense ed, we doubled the final consonant, T, and added ed. So our word went from pet to petted. And our sentences are, he wants Lucy to pet him. And the past tense sentence is, he loves to be petted. And our second example, we have the one-syllable word with a short vowel, stop. We added ed, and the past tense word is stopped. And our 2 sentence examples are, this means stop, and she stopped at the sign. This is the practice template to complete with kids. Fill in the blanks with the new words ending in ed. Remind kids to double the last letter. Pot plus ed equals potted. She potted the plant. Hop plus ed equals hopped. The rabbit hopped away. Bag plus ed equals bagged. He bagged the groceries. Rip plus ed equals ripped. The ripped paper is in the garbage can. Now introduce kids to basic spelling rule 1 and how it works with the ending ing. When changing a one-syllable word with a short vowel, and again that is our word mop, to present tense, this time adding ing, the final consonant is usually doubled before adding ing. And let's look at our example. Mop ends in P. We're going to add the ing to make mopping, so we double the P and add ing. And our 2 sentences are, she needs to mop the floor, and then our other sentence is, she is mopping the floor. Now discuss 2 more examples with kids adding the ing ending. When changing a one-syllable word with a short vowel, as in pet, to present tense, ing, the final consonant is usually doubled before adding ing. So again, the T would be doubled and then add ing. So in our example, we have pet plus ing makes petting. And our two sentences are, he wants Lucy to pet him, and he loves Lucy petting him. And our second example, the word is stop. We add ing to make stopping. And our two sentence examples are, this means stop, and she was stopping the tractor. This is the practice template to complete with kids. Fill in the blanks with the new words ending in ing. Remind kids to double the last letter. So pot plus ing is potting. She is potting the plant. Hop plus ing is hopping. The rabbit is hopping away. Bag plus ing is bagging. He is bagging the groceries. And rip plus ing is ripping. He is ripping the paper in half. Now introduce kids to basic spelling rule 2, words ending in silent E. When changing a word that ends with a silent E, as in time, to past tense, ed, drop the E before adding ed, or it will be spelled timeed, and we only want ed. So in our example, we see he wants to time the race, and after ed has been added, we have he timed the race, timed. Discuss two more examples with kids, reviewing the second spelling rule, words ending in silent E. When changing a word that ends with a silent E, as in bake, to past tense, adding the ed, drop the E that was in bake before adding ed. So our example has bake plus ed, dropping the E that was in bake, and then adding ed, we have baked. And our sentence examples are, she likes to bake, and she baked a cake. Our second example is the word tape, and then we add ed after we dropped the first D that was in tape, and then we have taped, T-A-P-E-D, and our examples are, he needed to tape the picture, and he taped the picture together. This is the practice template to complete with kids. Fill in the blanks with the new words ending in ed. Remind kids that the E is dropped and then ed is added. Our first word is rake, and with the ed it makes raked. He raked the leaves. Our next word is chase, with ed, it becomes chased. The dog chased the ball. Our next word is close, and then the ed makes closed. He closed the door. And our last word is bike plus ed makes biked. He biked to school. Now introduce kids to basic spelling rule 2 and how it works with the ending ing. When changing a word that ends in a silent E like time to present tense by adding the ing, it becomes timing. We drop the E before adding ing. So time, T-I-M-E, plus ing becomes timing, T-I-M-I-N-G. And our two example sentences are, he wants to time the race, and he was timing the race. Now discuss two more examples with kids adding ing. When changing a word that ends in a silent E to present, drop the E before adding ing. So let's look at our two examples. We have bake, then we add ing, but first we dropped the E, making it baking, B-A-K-I-N-G. She likes to bake. She is baking a cake. And our next example is tape. We drop the E, add ing to make taping. So our examples are, he needed to tape the picture. And the second one is, he is taping the picture. This is the practice template to complete with kids. Fill in the blanks with the new words ending in ing. Remind kids to drop the E before adding ing. So let's look at our completed practice page. Rake plus ing equals raking. He is raking the leaves. Chase plus ing equals chasing. The dog is chasing the ball. Close plus ing makes closing. He is closing the door. And bike plus ing equals biking. He is biking to school. Now introduce kids to basic spelling rule 3, words ending in Y. When changing a word that ends in Y preceded by a consonant, as in fry, to past tense, adding ed, change the Y to I and add ed. So fry is fry. We're going to add ed, so we change the Y to an I, then add ed, and we have fried, F-R-I-E-D. So let's look at our two examples. She wants to fry an egg, and she fried an egg. Practice two more examples with kids. Let's look at our first one. Again, when changing a word that ends in Y preceded by a consonant to past tense, change the Y to I and add ed. So spy ends in a Y and it is preceded by a consonant P. So when we add ed, we're going to drop the Y in spy and make it an I and add ed. So spied is spelled S-P-I-E-D. And our two sentences are, he likes to spy on his friends. He spied on his brother. And our second example is study. And then to add the past tense, we add ed. We drop the y and change it to an I and add ed to make studied. So our first example is he will study, and our second is he studied. This is the practice template to complete with kids. Fill in the blanks with the new words ending in ed. Remind kids to change the Y to an I before adding ed to make the past tense. So now let's look at our completed example. We had try and we added ed, and it makes tried. He tried to make a basket. Worry plus ed is worried. He worried about his cat. Carry plus ed is carried. She carried the packages. And apply plus ed is applied. He applied the rules. Now introduce kids to basic spelling rule 3 and how it works with the ending ing. When changing a word that ends in y preceded by a consonant, like fry, it ends in y, and r, a consonant, comes before it, to present tense by adding an ing, we keep the y and add ing. This one's a bit tricky. It is not like the ed ending where we changed the y to an I and added ed. We keep the word and just add ing. So let's look at our examples. She wants to fry an egg, and she is frying an egg. Now practice 2 more examples with kids and remind them that when changing a word that ends in y preceded by a consonant to present tense, we keep the y and add ing. So our first word is spy. It ends in a y, and it does have a consonant before the y. It is a p. So the word is spy. So when we add ing, we keep the y and not change it. We keep it as is and add ing to make the word spying. So let's read our sentences. He likes to spy on his friends, and he is spying on his brother. See him behind the tree? And our second example is study. Then add ing, and we have studying. And our 2 examples are, he will study and he is studying. This is a practice template to complete with kids. Fill in the blanks with the new words ending in ing and remind kids that they do not change the y, they keep it and add ing. So let's review the completed practice page. Try plus ing is trying. He is trying to make a basket. Worry plus ing is worrying. He is worrying about his cat. Carry plus ing is carrying. She is carrying the packages. And apply plus ing is applying. He is applying the rules. This is a guided practice page to do with your kids. Guided means you will probably need to offer them support since they have just learned a lot of different rules and how to apply them. So it is fine to help them with this page, and it will give you a great idea into what they have learned, what they understand, and what they need more support with. These are the answers for the practice page. Number 1, 2, and 3 follow Rule 1, words ending in a consonant. 4 and 5 follow Rule 2, words ending in silent E. 6 and 7 follow Rule 3, words ending in Y. And 8 follows Rule 1, words ending in a consonant. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to my channel, and as always, I will leave a link for all of these templates to do with your kids in the description section.